Hey y'all, Chelsea and Danny here.
Enjoy this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube.
We're right in the middle of our Today's Backyard. This week, we wrap it up.
Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford, the voice of home improvement, with projects, tips, and ideas to help you improve your home.
I think every backyard needs a nice play structure for the kids. They're in the process of assembling a very nice one for us as part of our Today's Backyard. But we also have a few things for the adults. One of those will be a hot tub that'll be positioned here, and we also have plenty of patio space and a wonderful composite deck for entertaining. Now, all of the elements of our Today's Backyard will be completed in this week's show, including all of the landscaping, resodding of the backyard, a nice swing that'll be hanging from the limbs of this nice oak tree, and a lot of other elements that I know you can use around your home. So stay with us. It'll certainly take a lot of sod to cover up all of this backyard, but that's one of the finishing touches on this project. And you know, we've been working out here for about 3 weeks, and for you to really appreciate how much work has been done in this backyard, you should see what we started with.
The back of the property was completely overgrown, unkept, and underutilized. While there had been some improvements here in the 40-plus years since the home was built, there was really no plan because elements were added at different times. With the help of our landscape architect, we developed a master plan for the yard and began removing everything that didn't fit. The first addition was the construction of the deck, which was framed with pressure-treated lumber but covered with a composite material to keep maintenance chores to a minimum. The privacy fence that came next was also a low-maintenance solution because this one is made entirely out of vinyl. Our plan also called for a spa on the lower existing concrete patio, but because the surface wasn't level, it was necessary to pour a new level slab on top of it. Then several yards of fill dirt were added to the back of the property to prepare it for the addition of a new storage building and the play structure, which is going in now.
Boy, the new play structure's looking great. I would have loved to have had one of those when I was a kid. We'll look at more of that in just a little bit, but right now, let's take care of the adults in this family with installing our new hot tub. Now, before we had a concrete slab here, but it was very unlevel, had a lot of cracks in it, just not a suitable foundation to support the heavy load of a hot tub. So we capped over that with additional concrete, reinforcement wire, so we know we've got a good foundation, which is very important when you're considering any type of hot tub in your backyard. Make sure you have a place that's level and will support the weight. Now, our stain is completely dry. We're ready for the hot tub, and it's arriving now.
The tub we've chosen is from Hot Spring Portable Spas, and as the name implies, these things can be moved, but they're not real light. Fortunately for us, these guys do this all the time, and they can get the spa right up to the slab before they slide it off the trailer and into place. This unit is self-contained, so after it's unwrapped and positioned, the only thing that remains to be done is connecting the power. We asked our local dealer, Jerry Galt, about maintenance of the spa before we filled it up with water.
If you do the right things, in other words, give your dealer a few minutes to teach you how to take care of the spa, it should never take you more than about 5 minutes a week to maintain the spa. And you'll have a beautiful spa every time you open the cover. For example, the spa's working all the time, even when you're not around. This spa has zero bypass filtration. That means every ounce of water that gets to a pump, any pump in the system, goes through a filter first, and that's working 24/7. Another thing that helps with the maintenance is the Everwood cabinet. This cabinet is completely maintenance free. This spa comes standard with a freshwater 3 ozonation system, which helps sanitize the water. Again, it's tied into the 24-hour system, so it works all the time. Again, you don't even know it's working because the ozone is introduced within the cabinet, the plumbing inside the cabinet. So you don't have any harsh ozone going into the spa.
It takes a little time to fill up a tub this large. It holds over 500 gallons of water. Now we're filling it up using a regular garden hose, but the garden hose is going inside one of the filters that Jerry had mentioned earlier to start the filtration process of all the water that goes in the tub. Now think about the weight that's here. You've got 500 gallons of water, and once you have 6 adults in here, which it's designed to hold, you're talking about over 6,000 pounds of weight that's represented here. So that's why it's so important to have such a good foundation like we have here. Now, if you're considering buying a hot tub and putting it on a deck, you really need to check it out closely with either a competent contractor or a structural engineer. Now, there's a lot of features here. You see all of the different jets that are part of this tub, and there's lights and a lot of other things we can show you once we get the water up to the right level. But right now, check this out.
It's time for this week's simple solution from home repair expert Joe Truini.
Out on remodeling projects, we use brown paper like this all the time to cover up finished floors or cabinets. It's pretty useful around the workshop too.
That's right, Danny, but the challenge is finding a convenient place to store the paper and to cut it. So what I've done here is I've gotten a couple of metal hooks from the hardware store and I've screwed them to 2 studs. Then I cut a length of wooden dowel that's slightly longer than that distance. Now we're just going to slip the paper on there and hang it right on the hook. Now you have a place to store the paper and you always know where it is. And to make it easier to cut, I'm going to take a 1x4 and screw it to the wall directly below the paper. In this case, it's down about 14 inches or so. Screw that right in place.
There you go.
Just a couple of 1 5/8 inch screws. Now what that provides is a surface for cutting the paper. So you should pull out as much as you need and then cut it right along. And I also put a little nail here on the side of the stud so you always have a convenient place to keep the knife and you know exactly where it is.
You can also use this same method for storing some of the other things that you have around the shop, such as paper towels or all the different rolls of tape you may have. And then it makes it very convenient to access those as well.
I just love sod. You know, it gives you that instant gratification because you get an instant yard. Now, over the last couple days, we've put down over 14 pallets of sod, and it's fairly easy. After the topsoil's down, you rake everything out nice and level, and then you put down 1 piece of sod at a time until the entire yard is completely filled in. Now, we have a little bit more to go because we've decided to add a little bit more around the perimeter here and there to kind of fill out all of the blank spots. Now, we're using a St. Augustine sod, which in a warm climate like we're in is perfect, especially with this yard being so shaded. As long as we keep it watered, it should really flourish. Now, another thing that's taken place over the last couple days is the installation of dozens of different landscape lights, both the solar lights as well as low voltage lights, and it's a lot easier to install than you might think.
Our landscape lighting experts, Wanda and Nick, put together a lighting scheme based on our master plan and began laying out the fixtures in their locations. Next, they mounted transformers adjacent to the existing outdoor outlets and pulled low voltage cable from there over to the fixtures. As each fixture is positioned in the ground, it's connected to the cable with a simple snap-on connector. These are great because they require no tools and they allow you to move fixtures around if you need to.
Well, what we wanted to do with this backyard space was really enhance the overall outdoor living experience using landscape lighting. For example, one of the things that we did around the spa area was we used some downlighting fixtures just to give a little soft glow around that area, uplighting some of the landscape elements as well. And then as you walk toward the play area, we have some of our solar fixtures and some whimsical elements for that fun play area. Also along the garden area, we used some of our tier lights to just border that garden, along with a little bit of uplighting on the house. The backyard fence, along the side yard, using some carriage hanging lights to frame the yard somewhat. And then of course these majestic live oaks look great with some dramatic uplighting.
This is one of the type of uplights that Wanda had talked about, this one shining up on this oak tree. There's another one right behind me that'll shine up on a little palm tree that we have. These create such a great effect once the sun goes down, and I can't wait to see how everything looks in this backyard. Now, earlier you saw the crew working on our impressive play structure, and you would think with all that's involved in a play structure like this, it would take a couple days to put it together, but these guys were pros. It only took them a couple hours.
The mulched area the structure sits in allows a 6-foot buffer zone on all sides, so there's no interference with fences, trees, or our new storage building. Because of the weight and the design of this set, it doesn't have to be anchored into the ground, just set up on a fairly level spot. Now this means you can take it with you when you move if you're up to disassembling and reassembling the 500 or so pieces that make up the structure.
As with any play structure, safety is a big concern. Here are a few features you'll want to look for when you're shopping for a play structure. First of all of the wood used on this one is either redwood or cedar, so there's no chemicals like you would have with pressure treated wood. Also, the edges are nicely rounded off and everything sanded smooth so that you don't have any chance of injury or any splinters. The fasteners that are used are smoothed off on the one end, and on the other end we have a recessed as well as a little fitting that goes over it to protect it, a little plastic cap. Even the chains have plastic coating on it to keep those little fingers out of the chain, but kids will be kids, so you need to keep an eye on them. Hey, let's take a little break from our Today's Backyard and head over to the Home Center for our best new product of the week.
Let's join Danny at the Home Center to check out this week's best new product.
There are two essential elements to have a very healthy garden. One, making sure that you have proper edging around your bed so that grass doesn't grow in and maybe choke the plants or make it very unattractive. Another very important element is to make sure everything gets watered properly. Now, we're all familiar with this type of edging that you bury down in the ground, and it does a good job to prevent that grass from growing into the beds, but now there's an edging similar to that to help you on those watering tasks. It's called Hydro Edge, and it's just as simple to install as the traditional edging. Start by digging a trench about 4 inches deep around the flower bed that you want to edge. Then install the edging, tamp the soil around it to hold it in place, attach a hose, and just turn on the water briefly to purge any of the dirt out of the tube, then install the end cap on the other end. Then use the punch that's provided to stamp the holes on the inside of the tube where you want the nozzles to be located. Then screw in the nozzles completely with the tips of the nozzles pointing up. Then turn on the water and you're able to adjust the water volume and direction of each nozzle. Each package contains 20 feet of the edging, but if you need more than that, it has an extension connector to allow you to connect another 20 feet. What a great idea. One thing to keep in mind when you're designing your outdoor living area is to keep your patio and decks fairly close to the kitchen. That's where all the food comes out for the grill, and you want to stay fairly close to the refrigerator. Now, the design of this house has the carport leading right off from the kitchen door, and it makes for a perfect spot that in the event of a planned event and you have rain, well, this is a place that you can occupy with a few tables here. So we thought a ceiling fan out here would help to keep a little breeze going during those hot days, and to tie everything together we use the same concrete stain on the carport as well as the upper patio that we used on the lower patio just to tie everything together. Hey, we're so close to completing this project, and all we have left is a little more landscape tweaking here and there, and our outdoor speakers that'll be installed, and our furniture will be delivered very, very soon. Now, the stain that we put on the concrete really did revitalize the whole look of the concrete. It gave it a very nice appearance. We did the same thing last week on a wood deck that we pressure washed and applied 2 coats of penetrating wood finish. It made a big difference on that. We used the same process and same material to make a big difference on our swing. Now, the swing's fairly old, but by pressure washing it and applying 2 coats of finish, it just made it look a whole lot better. By attaching the swing to one of our long limbs of the oak tree, put it in perfect position to keep an eye on the kids when they're playing in the playground. Now, the solar powered lights that Wanda mentioned earlier are positioned around the playground itself, and they're right now gathering all of the sun's energy to store it to provide subtle illumination after the sun goes down. Now, our other low voltage lights have a more sophisticated control. All our low voltage lights in the backyard can be controlled using the traditional transformer to turn them on and off, but this particular system can also be controlled using this wireless remote control. Now, all of the different scenes or groups of lights that we have out in the backyard can be controlled, or you can turn all the lights on, or you can even program the lights to come on and off whenever you want. Or you can control it to where it comes on when the sun goes down, and it turns all the lights off when the sun comes up in the morning. Now, there's also a couple other things that are tied into this low voltage system. One of them's right behind me, this unique bird bath that actually has a low voltage light under it and creates a really cool glow
through the water. It could be a real focal point in your yard at night. Another device is positioned in the back of the yard and is designed to rid your backyard of any mosquitoes that are always unwelcome guests when in the middle of the summertime. Now, you know, all of our work that we're doing here is in the backyard, but still we have to comply with all building codes and restrictions. On our deck, we had to be careful to make sure that it was built properly, but also on our fence, we wanted to make sure that we were on the right boundary line and just not taking for granted where the other fence was to remove and replace it with that. We had to make sure. Another consideration is the setback on our storage building. Our main concern with our storage building is that it was positioned in such a way that it would meet the setback requirements. We needed 8 feet off of our property line, and we ended up with a few inches extra, a little bit of a safety zone. Now, these are the things you need to think about when you're doing any kind of work outside your home that involves a building or any fencing, is to check with your local building codes and any restrictions that you may have in your neighborhood. Hey, we're almost finished with this project, and you'll see the completed Today's Backyard next.
Let's head outside for Around the Yard with lawn and garden expert Tricia Craven-Worley.
Now, this is a great looking bed you've established here, and I know the water is very important to make it grow.
Oh, water's important to every plant. Isn't this dianthus looking nice?
Yeah, it is, really
All the
nice.
pretty pink flowers, and then also this sago palm.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, one of the hardest things is how much water is enough water. There never seems to be enough.
Right.
So I have a way to continue to deliver that water through a system.
Okay, all right, share it with us.
Well, I took a 2-liter bottle and cut the top off of it, and then I poked holes in the bottom, which is pretty easy to do.
Right.
And then after that, I filled about 3/4 high with composted matter.
I see.
And then I submerged it. Let me show you where. See, I put it right behind this palm here.
Oh, okay.
And you can see,
that.
yeah, you can hardly see it. And of course, that's part of the beauty of
Right.
it, is that it's submerged. And every time I water, or it rains, hopefully,
Right.
then the water will also go in that little cistern.
Now, what if some of the mulch, though, kind of fills it up? Is that a problem?
Oh gosh, no, because it's composted matter, so it's natural, it's going to break down. So if some things fall in, that's fine. But you might want to check it every so often. If it gets a little low, put it back in. And it's amazing how well it percolates right through, and it continues to deliver the nutrients.
Our Today's Backyard is complete. Our intention was to create a low-maintenance, family-friendly, very private backyard. And now that everything's complete, I think we accomplished just that. The yard we started with had a disjointed feel from years of projects and additions that didn't always flow together. The back of the property resembled a jungle more than a suburban backyard, and the landscaping was a little bit out of hand. Now we have a large, wide open lawn with plenty of space, and even though there are separate areas for specific activities, the overall design of the yard creates a natural flow from one area to the next. The purpose of the storage shed is purely functional, but it actually complements the house and the detached garage because of its design and the matching color scheme. The play structure will certainly provide plenty of entertainment for the kids, but it also adds color to the yard as well as an interesting design element. The lighting in this area adds to the fun after dark, and in the other areas it creates a warm glow that lights the way or simply highlights some of the interesting features of this backyard, like the trees, fences, or the spacious deck. Now, speaking of the deck, this thing looked good when it was empty, but the rich composite decking and bright white rails now frame a great set of patio furniture, and the wide stairs from the lawn invite you to check it out. Another set of stairs leads you to the upper patio where the cooking will take place, and below that is a hot tub for relaxing after dinner. The rich wood look of this tub's cabinets and the newly stained patio make it look as luxurious as it should feel. That hot tub looks so relaxing, especially if you spend all day long working out in the yard. But you know, this whole backyard kind of has a retreat or almost a resort feel to it, so there's a lot of places to relax. Hey, thanks for being with us. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to comment, like, and hit the bell icon so that we can notify you when new videos are posted.
And don't go anywhere, click around and continue the home improving fun.